Welcome to the Far North Coast Rugby Union podcast, proudly brought to you by Coopers. I'm Graham Cook, and as usual, I'm here with the Zone Admin Officer, Wayne Mullane. How are we, Wayne?
Not too bad today, yeah.
A little bit quieter this week than you have been the last couple of weeks?
No, not really. No, not really. Just finishing up things, paying invoices, sorting a few things out.
Please tell me
carting 87 cartons back to the station today by myself.
I could have helped with that.
Yeah, well. Yeah.
Please tell me there were no judicial matters from the weekend.
No, nothing.
No judicial? Okay, so that's got to be a positive.
Only judicial matter came from the under 11 sevens team down in at the state championships.
Okay. Anything too serious?
Two reports came for the same fella. I'm not going to mention any names.
That's unfortunate.
But one was for dissent and one was for foul play, so I couldn't work out which one. He was charged with one. I think they must have overwritten one, and
so hopefully there'll be some discussions had with the player and his carers and parents, and there'll be a change of behaviour going forward.
I would think so at under 11s, would you not?
Yeah, we want to try and stamp out that sort of thing at that age group.
For sure.
Certainly makes it a lot easier going forward, and of course representing the zone's a whole other level again. Yeah, no, that's unfortunate. Hopefully there's some, what do they call it these days, some learnings coming from that.
Yeah, for sure.
There'll be some change of behaviour going forward, and there'll be no issues. Now, the teams themselves, how did they go?
Well, one of the 11s teams was, I think they graded them. I'm not 100% sure on that, but one went very, very well. The other won a couple of games.
Okay,
no one was disgraced.
Good.
The under-13s girls that was thrown together won their first 3 games, I think it was, and then came up against Penrith.
One of the red-hot teams.
And they lost that one, and then they got put into a different pool and play-off. And I think they had to win.
So all in all, the teams went well.
Yeah, no, better than what they thought. So very well. So not this weekend coming, but after the long weekend, the following weekend, we've got under 15s, boys and girls, and under 17 boys and girls.
That's it. Down at Foster.
And thank you, Jeff Watt, for. I want you down there as the manager.
You got volunteered.
So I volunteered to be manager again. Yeah, that's correct.
Well, firstly, congratulations for the junior rep sides that went away recently. Sounds like they went very well. Did themselves and their families, carers, clubs, and the zone proud. So congratulations. Sounds like that was a wonderful weekend, and a lot of learnings came from it, and come back next season even bigger and better again. Yeah, so well done. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to everyone.
I was just saying, in 2 weekends' time, there'll be the 15s and 17s down in Forster Curry for the State Sevens tournament. We've got representatives there in both boys and girls, or young men and women, in 15s and 17s. Got some good management teams and coaches going down. So best of luck to you. We wish you all the best. Hopefully you'll go well and play to your potential. So in the zone recently, of course, last weekend we were going to have the senior grand final on the Saturday, but there was a bit of an issue with that. Yes, we had this
rather heavy rain over the last few days there, 300 millimetres, Ben Carroll tells me, in Lismore over the 2 days.
It was precipitating in a major way.
Unbelievable.
The field drained exceptionally well, but it couldn't handle that amount of water. You go down there late on the Saturday and it was just a lake. So the call was made by the zone on
Friday at lunchtime. 12 noon we had to meet there, and they're all going, everyone just agreed 100% that we couldn't play Saturday.
Yep.
Because the forecast was...
Yep, the forecast was continue to rain.
And they're all looking at the forecast for Monday and Sunday. And then they were saying Saturday night it was supposed to ease and back right off, and 1 to 5 millimetres on the Sunday. And I said, well, that's the only option you got. If you can't do it next week for the long weekend, and we couldn't get the ground because that push bike thing's on in Lismore, the roads were closed, you couldn't get into it. So you would have had to go to the 12th of October, which is
a whole other lot of issues again.
Yeah.
So the decision was made to play it on the Sunday.
Yes.
First ever Sunday grand final.
Yeah, and Ben sent me a photo at 4:30 on the Friday when it stopped raining, and it was just like it was Saturday. So I said, well, just keep crossing your fingers that the rain stops.
Quite remarkable.
I couldn't believe. I went out at 8 o'clock in the morning and put the goalpost pads to the northern end of the field.
Right. Yes.
And the ground was not even squishy. You came off the main and you walked across. I went, God, how good's this? And then I went to the southern end, and it was a bit more wet. You could feel it going. Yeah. Yes. But we still had 2 hours to go, and the wind was blowing, and the sun was out. But Ben Carroll said after the games, he went out in the field and put his hands down on the grounds, and they were dry.
It's quite remarkable.
I just couldn't believe it.
Friday at 4 or 5 o'clock, the ground looked as though it was dry. It was quite remarkable. Then on Saturday, you could go Saturday morning or Saturday night, and it was just waterlogged. It was terrible. Yeah, as you say, Sunday morning we get there, and one end is almost bone dry already, the northern end. The southern end had a bit of water in it, but it wasn't too bad. It was still good rugby conditions. And yes, there was no issues on the day with players slipping over, any of those sorts of things that you don't want to have in such a major event being a grand final. The ground held up remarkably well, drained incredibly well. There was a good crowd there from all the clubs involved. There was a great atmosphere, and it was a really great decision by the Zone to postpone it from the Saturday to the Sunday. Well done, the Zone board. You've got that one right. And everybody and anybody that's involved in rugby, take your hats off to you. Well done.
Yeah, and then the next day on the Monday, we had the big storm at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or whatever it was, 2:30. So the mirror just it was
just that little window of opportunity.
Opened up for us. So
the games themselves, we started with under 18s from memory.
Yes.
A match-up between Lennox Head and Lismore.
Yeah, Lennox Head going in favourite, I thought.
Yes, Lennox Head deservedly going in favourites. They've, again, had an incredibly good season. Had only lost one match. Lismore had gone close a couple of times, had certainly troubled other teams all during the year, and in the final series had actually played their best rugby. And then on the day...
Yeah.
Got to say, Lismore just fronted up from the kicker. You literally, from the kick-off, you looked at and went, wow, Lismore is up for this. They are hitting hard in their tackles. They are getting up off the ground and chasing and getting back in D again and again and again. And when they had the ball, they were making territory and putting Lennox under pressure. A very, very impressive display. Took a while before they got some points out of it, but they started very well. And to be honest, they didn't give up for the whole match. No. They just kept at it.
Half-time, they were up 15-5.
15-5 at half-time, Lismore over Lennox Head, which was, as you said, a big surprise. Lennox Head were the team to beat all year.
Yeah, certainly was.
And then Lismore, as I said, second half, they were already up, but they didn't stop. They just kept tackling everything that moved and then making some actually good decisions, particularly for players at that age group. Made some really good game management decisions and just kept applying pressure. And in the old terminology, it didn't take the foot off the throat the whole game.
No.
It deservedly ran out winners.
18 points.
18 to 10?
18-10. Right? Lennox won the second half, 5-3, but
that
doesn't win you the game, does it?
Yep. So, hats off to Lismore and the under-18s. Very impressive display. Commiserations to Lennox Head, of course. They have played very well all year. But on the day, anybody that was an impartial observer would suggest that, Lismore deserved the win, got the win, and congratulations, Lismore. Great way for the club to start the day. Shows there's some juniors coming there for both Lennox Head and Lismore. Bodes well for the future of the next few years with those players coming into the senior ranks.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Lismore, major premiers in under-18s. Congratulations. Then we moved on to second grade. Now, if there was a white-hot favourite on the day, it would have to be Wollongbar in second grade. Going in undefeated?
Yes, totally.
Wollongbar undefeated in second grade against Casuarina. Wollongbar had, on occasion, put on 40 and 50 points on most teams in the zone.
Yeah, the only one game that they never got the bonus point was against Yamba down at Yamba.
Which, to their credit, Wollongbar, when I spoke to them, said they rate that as the hardest game they had all year.
Yeah.
And second grade was Yamba at Yamba, which anybody that's been there and observed or played in a second grade game at Yamba knows that, they're a whole different beast at home.
And it was wet down there as well that day.
So on the day...
Nudgy Collie was all down there playing as well. I went
that day. Yes.
I went down and helped.
There was quite a few games that day.
With the under-18s that combined Wollongbar Ballina team before it folded.
A big rugby day at Yamba was that day. Now, on the day here in the second grade, Wollongbar v Casuarina. Casuarina actually started well. They were putting Wollongbar under pressure. They were getting down the right end of the field, got some points. But then Wollongbar started to show how to score tries from 60, 70 and 80, 90 metres out.
Yeah, that one from the almost 190-metre one, that was... Yeah.
It's breaks your heart. I mean, some great option taking, turning over ball, seeing what's available, spinning it wide, have the pace and the skill, going 90 metres, scoring tries. You just... as a defending team, it's like, damn it, we were that close to getting in ourselves, and then suddenly we're behind our posts.
Yeah, Jared Riley
Jared Wiley, the captain, second grade, he stepped up on the day. Yeah. I think, in my view, he was the man of the match.
From 10, he just controlled it. The kicking options that he did.
That individual try he scored from over 50 out. You get too old to score those sort of tries, mate, but well done, bro.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive performance by Wollongbar in second grade. Half-time, they were in control, but didn't have that great a lead.
No, it was 24-5.
So 24-5 to Wollongbar at half-time.
And there was opportunities for Casuarina that they didn't take. They just didn't get there, and they put Wollongbar under pressure just before half-time and after half-time.
But against a team that good, if you don't take those opportunities, just ask the Wallabies. And then Wollongbar just did it again. And then did it again, and did it again. I must admit, I saw the score at the end of the game and went, wow, I didn't realise
I didn't think it was that much either.
Casuarina was funny. It was a game, they were in it to a large extent. It's just every now and again, Wollongbar would score points. Yeah. And as it ran, Wollongbar ran out winners, 53-10. 53-10, Wollongbar, undefeated minor major premiers in second grade. Congratulations. Thoroughly deserved it. Great coaching group, a really nice, great bunch of players who have been together for a couple of years, have been close for the last 2 or 3 years. This year finally put it all together, and congratulations, very, very well played. To Casuarina, look, you put up a really good fight, and as I just mentioned, I was quite surprised by the scoreline in the end because I thought Casuarina had actually played quite well. It's just they weren't getting the points at the right times when they went inside the 22 and then turn it over. And when you thought about it, I suppose, then Wollongbar scored.
I never got to watch much of the game. I watched it that night when I went home and put on the New South Wales Rugby TV, because I wanted to see how they scored that many. Yeah, because there was only 3 board members there for the day,
right,
and myself. That was it. So
a little bit busy,
a little bit under the pump, trying to get all the trophies out and everything, and just I was there from 8 o'clock in the morning, as I said, setting it up. I got the fun. Yeah.
We had some offsiders there helping him. Look, so once again, congratulations to Wollongbar in second grade.
Fisher. He's good here.
Minor and major premiers, very well led by their captain, Jared Wiley, probably the player of the day in my view. He had an outstanding game. So congratulations, thoroughly deserved. Casuarina, you showed that you deserved to be in the grand final. You were just up against a very, very good side. Yeah. So then we moved on to a game that actually a lot of people were really looking forward to.
Yeah, I was too.
Similar in a lot of ways to reserve grade in that Casino, with the minor premiers, had played some outstanding rugby during the year. But they were up against a team and a club that's been to the grand finals before in Lismore. Lismore showed, particularly in the final, to get into the grand final, that they also could score a few points. They could defend well. They played for each other. So it was like, people were really looking forward to this match. So that's great for women's rugby in the zone. And what happened in this one?
Yeah, well, unfortunately for Casino, because originally they were going to play on Saturday, were they not? So Casino had made their presentation night on the Saturday night.
Oops.
So I believe there was a few girls that were out till about 4 in the morning and... Yes, I heard that. And Sonia said she was on pick-up duty at that sort of time in the morning, picking them up and getting them home. So, bit of their own fault, I think.
Okay. Perhaps weren't as focused as they might have been with the Saturday grand final, unfortunately.
That's right, yes.
That's very unfortunate.
Anyway, they did come back in the second half. They were down 12-0 at half-time.
So, Lismore in women's were up 12-0 at half-time over Casino, and that was probably a fair reflection of how the two teams have played too.
Were they?
Yeah.
They
just whisked. Like, Casino, come on.
What's happening?
And to Lismore's credit, they were up for it as a sort of like their under-18s. They, from the kick-off, they showed they really wanted this. Yeah. And then the second half was just a little bit too much for Casino to make the comeback.
Yeah, it certainly was.
The final score ended up
22-12.
So 22-12 to Lismore over Casino in the women's.
Yeah, Casino won the second half 12-10, but as again, you don't win it by just winning one half.
Can't say I won the half. Yeah. So congratulations, Lismore. You really showed on the day that you really, really wanted that game and ran out deserved winners. You played the best rugby in the grand final and won the game. Congratulations. Feel very sorry for Casino. They had been the team to beat all year, but it's about performing on the day. And unfortunately, the ladies didn't play to their potential, and Lismore deserved to run out the winners. Congratulations. Sound fair?
Yeah, it does. 100%.
The big game of the day. First grade between the minor premiers Wollongbar and the team that had beaten them in the major semi-final, Casuarina Beach.
Yes.
Now, if there were people looking forward to the women's game, there were certainly a lot of people looking forward to this because it had shown that Casuarina could score points just as easily as Wollongbar could.
Yep, 100%.
And what tactics would they use? Which forward pack would get on top? Who would be able to go through the middle in the backs or be able to go out wide? Just you looked at both teams and you thought they are just so even. I wouldn't want to call this.
No. Well, it was an entertaining game from what parts I did see.
Okay.
I didn't see too much. I thought Kai George was, every time I went out and had a look, he was doing something.
Kai George, the first grade player of the year?
Yeah, no, I think he was a player of the match as well.
Right.
From what I saw.
Yes.
Only,
Always a threat with the ball.
Yeah.
It was very safe at the back, the high balls. Yeah, played well. A couple of other players in the backs there for Casuarina also stood up. And it was a very even and close match. The scoreline was going backwards and forwards. Casuarina started, got points.
Yeah, well, I was downstairs getting the trophies and that, doing everything in the room, and I heard Nick Chi on the microphone say the score was 22-21, and I'm going, that's not much information there, Nick. Who's in front? And Casuarina,
I won't tell you who, I'll let you guess.
Casuarina scored a try and converted it. And he said, now that takes Casuarina to 28 and Wollongbar 22. So Wollongbar was in front at that stage.
Yeah,
so
Casuarina started, got a converted try, went up 7-0. And then Wollongbar got a penalty. Then they hit back with a couple of tries. And suddenly at halftime, I think it was 17-7.
Yes, it was.
Does that sound right?
Wollongbar up 17-7.
And you almost sort of went, really? I didn't realise that Wollongbar had managed to get that far in front of them. And Casuarina hadn't quite taken their opportunities later in the half. So had a disallowed try in the first half that was certainly a big discussion point. And then didn't take opportunities later. And suddenly they were down 17-7 at half time. And you're going, okay, is Wollongbar going to take control of this and just run away with it? But as you've mentioned, Casuarina certainly had other ideas.
I think Casuarina were the better side on the
they
day,
were,
actually.
as you mentioned, they were up 28-22 and looking like the better team. It was like Wollongbar is going to have to pull out something special here to come back. They were down 28-22, then got a penalty, took that, 28-25, managed to get down that end again, got another penalty, let's take the shot, made it 28-all. And then right near the end of the game, they weren't scoring tries, which is very unusual for Wollongbar. Casuarina defence was able to match them there. Got another penalty, put themselves in front, 31-28. Wollongbar over Casuarina. And you go, okay, we've got a grandstand finish, as we like to think of it. And then Casuarina got a penalty in the last minute of the game, took a scrum option rather than taking the shot to tie it up potentially at 31-all.
Yeah, I was amazed at that. I walked out then, and I'm going, why would you take it?
A no guts, no glory move. Spoke to a few players and said they didn't realise the end was that close. The referee hadn't informed them. Possibly they hadn't asked. So they took a scrum option. Unfortunately, they weren't able to score from that. Wollongbar were then able to get the ball, kick it out, and ran out winners, 31-28.
Yeah, very strange ending.
Congratulations, Wollongbar.
Yeah.
You showed how to win a grand final.
Yeah.
Casuarina players, and certainly spoke to a fair few of them, were like, we know that's one we could have won.
Of course they could.
So
they should have.
Hopefully a lot of those players will be back next year knowing that they are good enough to get into a grand final and they're also good enough to win it.
I believe there's a few of them heading off.
Yeah, I did hear that. So I'm saying hopefully as many as they can would be great. To Wollongbar, look, you've got to take your hats off to them. There's a newer group of players coming through, but they're also a very experienced core group of players that have been there, done that before. And on the day they showed that. They had a fair bit of pressure at one stage, got a couple of yellow cards, and you thought this is Casuarina's real big opportunity. They're down 15-13. Wollongbar's under a lot of pressure inside their 22. If they give away more penalties, you know the referee will give another yellow card. But unfortunately, for Casuarina, they weren't able to convert that pressure. Wollongbar were able to get penalties every now and again and get out of their danger zone, and then just managed the game, got to the other end of the field and got points. As I said, 22-28, then 25-28, 28-all, 31-28. You're going, this is the
Wollongbar
Wollongbar
they got
team.
that penalty when they were 28-all. Ben was just hovering at the back waiting
He's going, what's
do the
happening
drop
here?
goal.
They were talking about it. You could hear it on the field. They were talking about trying to set up, go through the middle, try and set up for a drop goal, and then they got a penalty. And they had a discussion about it, but said, yep, we'll take the shot, sir. And Bodie Smith.
Not like something back at Yamba one year.
We won't talk about that. So, look, congratulations, Wollongbar. I suppose I've got to say that's a three-peat by the coach, so well done. to the coach of Wellingbar. A very, very, just like Casarena, to be honest, just a great bunch of blokes in both clubs, both teams. Congratulations, Wellingbar. You did it tough, but you toughed it out, as I think one of those sayings they have, and ran out winners. Congratulations, first grade, minor and major premiers. So the just look, going back to that, reflecting on how the day, and it was played on the Sunday rather than Saturday. I live here in Lismore, not far from the ground. Went down, had a look a couple of times. The conditions were just absolutely atrocious on the Saturday. The ground, it wasn't a mud heap because it does drain very, very well, but it was so wet it was ridiculous. So a very, very good call. Looking at the forecast, hats off to the Met on this occasion. They got it right. Forecast was Sunday to be exactly what it was. Fine up. The field drained really well. Both clubs in all the grades were able to play the rugby they wanted to play. The weather conditions did not have an effect. So great decision by the board. There's been a lot of decisions all year that people like to talk about, but they're not willing to actually stand up. My hat goes off to the Far North Coast board. I know I've been there, done that. They did a very good job. And on the day, that facility is absolutely fantastic. To everybody that put money into that for the sporting community of Lismore and the region to host events like this, that Crozier Field Oaks Oval facility now is outstanding. Hopefully we'll be able to get some representative rugby games there in the future, because it's certainly the equal of any opportunity, any ground in country New South Wales. So, well done.
What I meant was this. If you're going to abuse an official, saying how disappointed you are in that person, get off your ass, get on the board and have a go.
Yep. Okay, we want to finish on a positive note here. I think there was some fantastic rugby played in the zone this year. The grand finals in juniors and seniors, I'd say pretty much in all grades. There was just some really, really good rugby played. So hats off to everybody involved. That's the coaches, managers, the supporters, the parents, particularly in the younger age group, the club personnel that's behind the scenes, and there's so many that do so much work. Thank you very much for what's been a very long season, but it's also been a very entertaining season. There's been some well-deserved winners in all grades and some really close matches. And it's just been fantastic to be out and about in the grounds and to be involved in some of those games. It's just fantastically well done by everybody involved. And, of course, to our admin officer here, mate. Well done once again.
But, and hardly any tensions at the game. There's only a couple of games where it was really...
It was pretty good. Sunday's grand final was a great example. The crowd support by the club people was fantastic, but after the match there was no issues at all. It was just it was a really, really enjoyable day to finish the season off. Of course, there's more coming up, as we mentioned earlier. Junior rugby's coming up in a couple of weekend time down at Forster Tuncurry, 15s and 17s State Sevens tournament.
Yeah, boys and girls.
Boys and girls, and we've got teams in all those grades. And then the weekend after that is the Byron Bay Sevens. If you're around in this region, 19th and 20th of October, we have a seniors on the Saturday, Byron Bay Sevens, and then there's a junior carnival on the Sunday, first time ever. It's looking to be a big day as well. So if you're out and about, the 19th and 20th, head down to Byron Bay. It's going to be a great tournament on the Saturday, seniors, and Sunday in the juniors. Would be remiss to not mention Coopers again. Thank you very much, Coopers. Great support of the zone. We've really enjoyed some of your products. Thank you very much.
As we always do.
And to Markoff Media, thank you very much for doing this podcast. Hopefully people around the zones have enjoyed them. Wayne Mullane fronting up when we've had the opportunity. From myself, thank you very much. It's been a joy. We'll put out a team of the year. We're going to put out a possibles and a probables. Gets people talking, bit of debate. But yeah, that's our views. We'll see where we go from there. Thank you very much for having us. We'll chat again. Thank you.
Cheers.